the start of a new year and Ulster fans are hoping for a change in their team's fortunes. Ulster finished 2017 with a demoralising defeat to Connacht, beaten by a record score in Galway.
It's going to be another try for Connacht. What a belter from Bundyaki.
Tonight in Belfast it's another Interpro. Munster, who lost their last game to Leinster, are the opposition. And they're here to try and pile even more pressure on the Ulster Director of Rugby, Les Kiss.
I can understand if there's criticism, I understand there's opinion. Doesn't mean it's always right, but at the moment my focus is about the team and it's not about me, it's about what we've got to do as a team this week.
So lots at stake for Les Kiss's Ulster. He's determined his side can bounce back today. But Munster have beaten Ulster on their last two visits to Belfast. It's live on BBC Two and it's a sellout at the Kingspan Stadium. Good evening, Happy New Year to you all on what is a very chilly evening at Ulster Rugby headquarters. But what better way to start 2018 than with some Ulster Rugby Live. Stephen Ferris and Eddie O'Sullivan are with us tonight for the big game. There's already been one interprovincial play this afternoon at the RDS. Leinster were up against Connacht, and a cracking game it was too. One try apiece in the first half. Max Deegan gave Leinster the lead. But after this Bundyaki break, Connacht powered their way over for a try of their own. Finlay Bealham eventually burrowing over to give Connacht a 13-11 half-time lead. Leinster got back in front again. Luke McGrath with the close-range try. But Connacht, to their credit, pulled one back through Matt Healy. A fantastic finish it was too. But the home side held on to win by 21 points to 18. So there's confirmation of the round 12 results. Wins for Benetton, Glasgow, Scarlets, Ospreys and Leinster. Leinster's win today means they're still second in the Conference B table. Ulster now trailing in third, 11 points behind. Stephen, Eddie, are you expecting a big bounce back from this Ulster team today after what was a fairly embarrassing result in Connacht?
Yeah, it was. They won't be happy, and I talked about the review, and I think a lot of players would have been singled out for the way they went about their business. It wasn't good enough, and Eddie talked about the bungee cord that is Ulster Rugby, the up and down. Tonight, it's got to be up, because if they play like they did against Connacht, they're gonna lose this game. So for me, it's about a reaction. Boys looking at one another, believing that the guy beside him is good enough to do their job. So yeah, huge reaction, Stephen.
Eddie, how much pressure do you think is on Les Kiss and his coaching team to deliver a win today?
It's very important to win tonight. They haven't had momentum all season. It's been broken between good and bad performances. They had a really shocking performance in Galway and they need to bounce back from that. And I think tonight Stephen referred to fellas showing up, but they've got to be physical tonight, which they weren't in Galway. But that's not going to guarantee them a win tonight. They've got to play well also. They've had disruption with selection, so have Munster, so it's hard to judge these games how they go with new faces around the block. I think Ulster are glad to have John O'Gibbs back into camp. He was away for the last game. You could tell in Galway he probably missed. The line didn't fire well. The defensive maul was awful, so hopefully that'll tighten up tonight. OK, Eddie, Stephen, thank you very much indeed. Lots more to hear from you at half-time. But now it's time to join our commentary team, Ian Humphreys, and Happy New Year to Jim Neely.
And Happy New Year to you, Stephen. Well, the evenings may be getting just appreciably longer, but the temperatures certainly haven't been changing all that much. It is a very cold night here at the Kingspan Stadium, and Munster have made no fewer than 11 changes from the side that went down last week. Only skipper Billy Holland and Tommy O'Donnell survived from the pack that started. There's an all-international front row, and of course Jack O'Donnell, who's in the back row. Behind the scrum, JJ Hanrahan takes over the 10 jersey. Former Ulster centre Sammy Arnold starts alongside Keith Earls, and Simon Zebo's at fullback. And for the very first time this season, Rob Herring is leading out an Ulster side who need to do something if that gap between themselves and the Connethley Scarlets and Leinster is not to grow to the point where it's going to be almost impossible to overhaul. Ulster had made 11 changes also, but there's been a late cry-off. Louis Lulick's down with a bout of flu. Darren Cave starts in the centre, but back come playmakers Charles Piatow and Christian Ilifano, and Stu McCluskey in the centre as well. Only Nick Timoney in the forward survives. A brand new front row, Messrs McCall and IU and Dysel haven't played for the best part of 2 months, and O'Connor and Treadwell restored to the partnership in the Ulster second row. Referee this evening is Sean Gallagher, doing his 8th Pro 14 game. He's the IRFU's referee development officer in Connacht, and is a former schoolmaster, and is welcome to the Kingspan Stadium to Sean Gallagher. And JJ Hanrahan gets us underway. Big stretch there by the fully fit, well, that remains to be seen, John Deisel. Took it in well. Greg Jones takes it forward. Ulster still inside their 22, where Ulster will want to keep them for as long as possible. John Cooney's given that a fair old belt, and he's put a lot of height on it. Zebo is well taken by Rob Little, starting his first game for Ulster this season. But the Paris-bound Simon Zebo set it up nicely. Away goes Niall Scannell, who was number 2 to Rory Best in the autumn. Duncan Williams, vastly experienced, fast approaching 150 Munster appearances. Characteristic headgear on. It's a nice little chip by him. Who's underneath it? Well, tapped back cleverly. What a great challenge there by Ulster in the air. Munster won the ball. Williams, Hanrahan, did a couple of seasons with the Northampton Saints.
Release.
Jack O'Donoghue made some ground for Munster. They were trying to stretch this. Here goes Sammy Arnold, who's played at 13 a lot this season for Munster. That's a good steal. Well, no, almost was a good steal. Billy Holland takes it on. Playing his 16th consecutive game of the season for his province. And the first penalty of the evening goes to Munster. And it's a happy new year and a welcome to Ian Humphreys. How are you?
Happy New Year, Jim. Happy New Year, everybody. Yeah, that was an interesting start to the game tonight. Obviously, immediately a lack of discipline by Ulster. And I think where it came with the breakdowns, where the game's going to be won and lost tonight. Obviously, a bit obvious, but I think the Munster back row is very strong with Chris Clutie, Jack O'Donoghue, and Tommy O'Donnell. And I think it's key the likes of John Deisel can get in there early and put some pressure on it. But we could hear from up here the referee said it was a ruck and release. Unfortunately, he didn't let go. So poor enough start for us to be disappointed, but it's still early days.
Here is JJ Hanrahan making just his 4th start of the season for his province. Ian Keatley's been the main man this season, with Tyler Blenthal coming back from injury. Hanrahan, and he's just pushed that one. Well, there was an almost Thomond Park-like silence here at the Kingspan, but that respect played to the goal kicker, as we expect from crowds here in Ravenhill, didn't help Hanrahan at all. So no score. No,
a surprising miss. Obviously, the year before Hanrahan moved to Northampton, he was goal and boot winner, so you can't expect him to miss too many of those tonight.
Restart by Christian Liliafano. Billy Holland, the Munster skipper. Hanrahan back in his outside half position. That's the teaser. Liliafano's covered back well and has done extremely well to gather the ball in. He's been a terrific asset since he arrived here from Australia. John Cooney goes to ground. Kyle McCall back on the Ulster side just waits, and Munster turn that one over. Yes, they have, and that's poor work at the breakdown by Ulster. Here's Keith Earls back to full fitness. That was knocked backward, says the referee, and the crowd, needless to say, disagree with him. Duncan Williams, big John Ryan, who's been battling with Stephen Archer for the number 1, number 3 berth. Holland gets it away to Earls, back inside. Ulster's captain Rob Herring makes the tackle. Williams, Tommy O'Donnell playing at 6. Only operates at 7. Hanrahan. Niall Scannell, good to see him back playing again after a while out with injury. Munster set that one up nicely. Hanrahan. Zebo. That might just bounce into touch and goal, and it has bounced into touch and goal. So they'll come all the way back for the scrum to Ulster. Fortunate enough for the men in white.
Yes, it was, but good defence there, Jim, from Ulster. Munster had plenty of possession, but weren't really going anywhere, and they've got quite a strong prevailing wind behind them, so Zebo's trying to push them back. But interestingly, both Hanrahan and Duncan Williams have been hitting a lot of competitive kicks to obviously try and test both Robert Little and Craig Gilroy in the air. So Calvin Nash in the Munster wing and Alex Wooten both very strong under the high ball in the chase. So they're trying to put Ulster on a bit of pressure and seem to be trying to turn them so that they can try and take off Ulster's strong line speed.
Jack O'Donoghue getting a little bit of
Where is he, Nigel? Oh, I see him now, yeah.
contact lens work done. I don't think it's anything more serious than that. But it must be something that's happened. Maybe it's moved round. Well, I have to say, and there's a chap who's probably the warmest little creature in the entire Kingspan Stadium, and it's a very, very, very insincere happy birthday to Sparky. I wouldn't even ask how many birthdays he has celebrated. But he's given us a wee bit of a birthday jig and a wee wheek of, oh, tell you, I wish I could do that. Well done, Sparky. Many more of them, please. First set piece of the evening, first scrum, and it's going to be an Ulster scrum who haven't been outside their own half, and indeed this is the first time they've been outside their own 10-metre line. John Cooney has a little glance to his left just to see where the Munster midfield backs are deployed. Ulster enjoying a 4 points a man advantage, which is a big switch from last week where they were half a stone lighter against a Connacht pack who really made that pay. Big squeeze by the Munster pack, but Cooney's got it away nicely. McCluskey, Lealiafano. Here goes Piatau, he's Rob Little outside him. Now Little is not slow. He's done well, and he's still in field, and Piatau flies in. Cooney, flat pass to McCluskey, and he's lost it. Just what Ulster didn't need, having made all that effort and all that ground made. Good covering back by Little. He's played a fair old bit at full back. That's nice footwork by the youngster. Just his first start of the season, still only 20. Lealiafano, nicely done. Craig Gilroy off his right wing. Bit of enterprise by Ulster, but they just need to temper it with good sense. Alan O'Connor. Cooney went to the open side. Darren Cave. Piatau's through. And a couple of men outside him. It's still there for Ulster. Kieran Treadwell. And Little, who's been prominent. Referee having a good look at that breakdown. Says leave it red, so Munster must get their hands away. Kyle McCall hasn't played for 2 months at this level. And Sean Gallagher gives another penalty against Ulster at the breakdown.
Yeah, Jim, that's what I mentioned 5 minutes ago. Chris Clutie, phenomenal there all season since he's come in from South Africa. What you're seeing, every ruck, every breakdown, Munster piling 2 or 3 into it. They obviously feel that Ulster are vulnerable. And what it does mean is that if Ulster can create quick ball, it's going to give the likes of Charles Piatau those inside options. But you just see how quickly Clutie in on the ball, first man there, no ruck formed, and Ulster just got to almost go with the mindset of attacking him even before he gets there.
That hasn't found touch.
Stop.
Brought in field by Gilroy. Nasty bounce for Simon Zebo. A little scooty one along the ground. Lealiafano.
Stop, White. Stay behind 3.
Keith Earls. Just trying to place that into an empty spot. Well taken by Cooney. Was thumped by Earls and by Sammy Arnold, formerly of Ulster, now of Munster. Greg Jones.
Away 4.
Referee telling Darren O'Shea to get out of it. Lealiafano has to go into scrum half. John Deisel. Cooney. And again, all a wee bit cramped in the middle of the park there. Penalty given. Without a doubt, the legs were lifted above the horizontal, but was he let down carefully enough? I think John Ryan might have been the man in the frame.
The way that he went into you lifting.
Yeah, Jim, I think he's lucky he hasn't gone to video ref here. We couldn't really see it that clearly with the number of bodies, but when the feet are that high up, you think it's not looking pretty. But Munster, again, their defence is very, very aggressive, and they're really preventing Ulster from getting any good momentum. But here we go again. Deisel leading early, and he's pretty fortunate the referee's telling him to play on here.
Definitely a penalty, and perhaps even a yellow card, but that yellow card hasn't materialised. And in the meantime, Christian Lealiafano has put Ulster back into the Munster half. Very little between these two sides last season. Munster won both games by a single point and by just 2 points. Good take by Deisel. Cooney, wonderful off the left hand. Darren Cave. Late call up to the side following Louis Ludwig's bout of la grippe. Cooney again. Piatau. Missed the game last week in Galway. He was certainly missed. Nicely away by O'Connor. Better stuff by Ulster. McCluskey now tries to get outside Keith Earls and does. That look forward. Ulster just need to protect the ball a little bit more. Ian, it's all very well being enterprising, but if it results in you giving away possession, then the enterprise comes to nothing.
Yeah, it's obviously a set play that you could see the previous 3 phases were designed to give us opportunity, but great defending by Alex Wooten there, because they had a 4-on-2 Ulster, but he just managed to get in that channel that Stuart McCluskey couldn't offload, and he was just unfortunate. The offload out the back door just slid forward, but very well done by Alex Wooten. But Ulster will be pleased with the chances they're creating, and obviously that's due to the good analysis they've done midweek and good execution in the first 3 phases.
Munster were given the option of the scrum or the line out because the ball was pushed into touch by Ulster, and they've gone for the scrummage, interestingly enough.
Crouch!
Duncan Williams now 31 years of age,
Bind!
former Irish Schools and under-21 representative. Solid looking Munster scrum. Down it goes on the Ulster tight head side, and I think the referee has penalised Rodney Ayew. It may well have been his assistant Nigel Correll on the other side, and down on his knees went Rodney Ayew.
Yeah, Jim, that'll be a little bit frustrating for Ulster to have finally got a bit of territory in the Munster half to then just let the pressure off them so easily, and Hanrahan found a good touch this time. He'll be frustrated to have missed touch the last one, and this is where Munster will just start to get the grind on. They'll just hit up somebody in midfield, get over the gain line, just try and beat Ulster around the corner and make this a real physical mess for the next 5 minutes.
Wait, stepwise, you're on the line, please.
Referee gets the placing right. Munster have taken a couple of players out and put them in the middle of the field. Crucial that Niall Scannell gets this throw right, and he does. That's well taken.
Advantage.
Munster.
Advantage right.
Rodney Ayew penalised yet again for an illegal entry. The referee's playing advantage to Munster, who are taking full advantage, and they are churning forward.
Still advantage.
Ball has gone loose, and they'll go back for the penalty. So that's 2 penalties. You can see that Rodney Ayew hasn't played a lot of rugby in the last 2 months. He's forgotten the laws of the game.
Yeah, listen, it's just, I guess it's what Ulster themselves been frustrated with. It was discipline, and Jim, I don't know much about mauls and set piece, but I'm pretty sure that that's illegal coming in the side there so blatantly. So it's a frustrating one, because it just makes field position so easy when Ulster's defence is so good that teams find it difficult to get through them and make gain lines to then give away soft field position. They got 2 set pieces in a row. Will be very frustrating for the coaching staff.
Yeah. It's your job to keep the space.
Hanrahan playing his 73rd game for Munster, and he scored over 300 points for them. No points there. He missed with an early penalty. 12.5 minutes gone, and Munster in a great attacking position. Scannell. Billy Holland, the skipper, at the front, and Ulster need a few more men in place. They got themselves severely fractured down in Galway. Referees playing advantage this time. He said number 2, so it was the Ulster skipper. Rob Herring gave away the penalty. Again, the advantage being played. That's gone loose. Swept away nicely. This could be interesting. Oh, wonderful defence by Ulster. Calvin Nash very nearly in on the corner for his first Munster try, and this is his first Munster appearance of the season, but they'll go all the way back for the penalty to Munster.
That's great cover tackle by Stuart McCluskey, because Calvin Nash, a good finisher. Robert Little does very well to cover in, and great cover tackle there, because that's a good step from Nash. But also going to be frustrated. That's another penalty, Jim. What's that, the 3rd, possibly 4th penalty of the game so far? 4th, I think. And that's just blatant again.
Free come in the side, then you come in the side. Sorry. Yeah, have a word with them.
Well, referee Sean Gallagher is just saying to Rob Herring that there are far too many penalties been given away. Number 3 came in the side. He said, then you come in the side. He said, go and have a word with your team. What is the decision going to be, and Billy Holland has asked JJ Hanrahan to pop it into the corner, and Munster will go for the throw, the catch, the drive, and they hope to try in.
Yeah, I think after their performance last week, Munster will have looked at they'll have looked at the Connacht performance and seen that they just came and physically dominated Ulster, and Munster will be reeling from last week's performance against Leinster as well, so this is how they exert their way, the Munster way.
Scannell with the throw, O'Donoghue with the take, and here comes the Munster drive. There's not a lot of white bodies there to stop this. Munster very close to the first try, and the referee has given the try, and it's deja vu. What happened in Galway has happened in Belfast, and Ulster have conceded a try from very close range, and a little bit of New Year's nonsense breaks out. They don't need to be doing that. Just take the try and get on with it. But 5-0 after 14 minutes.
Yeah, again, listen, we just keep going back to that's discipline. That's four soft penalties there's been, and it's just given Munster the field position, and there's no point in Ulster sort of giving it all the physical stuff now after the try. They need to bring that in when it's time to make the defence. But the referee seems to be pretty frustrated with Ulster at the minute.
Well, look, there was hardly a couple of Ulster players bound together, and the try was just about inevitable, and over rumbled Munster. Here's a closer look at it, Aim. What do you think?
Yeah, from up here, right from the start, they got a good set, Munster, and they're well drilled, you know, Jim. And as I said, they will be frustrated with their performance last week as well. And you can just see Niall Scannell at the bottom of that, bossing it well, and a quality player to be bringing in. They've made all their changes, yet it's still a pretty formidable pack they've got out, and they're just bossing it. And you know, they're going back to their old Munster way of just set piece. Let's be really physical. Let's outwork the opposition.
Missed with a penalty earlier on. Hanrahan with a conversion, and he's missed with that one as well. My goodness. Well, Ulster could have conceded 5 more points, but they haven't. But 15 minutes gone, and it's Munster leading by 5 points to 0.
Yeah, they'll be looking for a big response here from the kick-off and a good chase, and very unlike Hanrahan to miss 2, whether he's expecting the win to do more, because they both looked at good strikes. But Ulster could just do some possession, some field position now to exert some pressure.
Lealiafano. O'Donoghue, slowed down by McCluskey. Hanrahan's directly behind Duncan Williams and is calling for the ball to be delivered to him. Bit of a miscue, under a bit of pressure from Ulster's captain Rob Herring, so Ulster will get the line out, and this is the deepest they've been into Munster territory.
It is, Jim. As we always talk about, this is the extra sec pace, the kick-off, and that was a good drill, good pressure and kicking. And poor from Hanrahan with that wind. He probably should have been hitting it down the 5-metre line and just letting the wind drift it out. But good pressure by Ulster and a good attack. So let's look for sort of Charles Piatar, somebody to get Ulster over the gain line. McCluskey likewise.
Well, they needed to win that ball first, and they didn't. Clutic goes to ground and has won it for Munster on the deck. Ulster just a little bit slow, but the whole execution of that lineup was not satisfactory. Karen McCall looked as if he took a bump to the head there, but I think he's fine. Williams. Good take by Little, who's well taken in turn by Calvin Nash, and red jersey swarming all over this, but back on the Ulster side, Kyle McCall. Missed the last 8 games. Rodney Ayew. It's a bit more like it from him. Cooney. Diesel. Tackled by Darren O'Shea, the 25-year-old from Cork. Now it's Lealiafano. McCluskey rode the tackle well. He must not throw the ball away cheaply, though, and he hasn't. Greg Jones, good sidestep. Ulster up to halfway. Ayew. Piatau. Well taken by Kieran Treadwell. He stopped in his tracks. Tried claiming penalty, but the referee was playing advantage. I don't think he's going to give the penalty anyway. Lealiafano on his own a little bit. Darren Cave, who won his 200th Ulster cap a week ago in Galway. Nicely done by McCall, even better by Piatau. Gilroy, Herring, here's Little, back inside, here's Cooney. This is better stuff. John Cooney, he's got Zebo to beat. He steps inside Zebo, needs a bit of help. All he had to do was maintain his composure, and Ulster might have got a try of their own. Munster swarming over the ball at the breakdown, and Hanrahan, again under a bit of pressure, gets it away. You can tell that he hasn't played a lot of games this season to number 10.
Yeah, I think in that situation he just wants to get the ball in touch because they were reeling from a great break by Ulster. But I think one of the concerns for him is where was the support. Once that's a great bit of play by Ulster, drawing and give Gilroy to Rob Herring, just draws the man, gives it along. Nice by Robert Little. Brilliant tackle by Zebo. We just Ulster don't need to throw that away, Jim. Rob Little's there to clean that up. And I think when you watch around, the concerning thing for Ulster is quite a lot of boys are walking, and whether that's because so many of them have been off for so long, you know, it's quite hard to bring 4 or 5 guys back in who might not quite be up to match pace.
I'm feeling that Sammy Arnold might just have come in to that ruck from an offside position, but neither the referee nor the assistant on this side thought likewise. Bit of a stoppage. Not sure what the problem is. They're going to resume, and it's going to be an Ulster line. Coming up at the end of the first quarter, only one score between them. Ulster 0 and Munster 5. A try by hooker Niall Scannell. Ulster taking John Diesel out. Herring. Bit scrappy. Oh dear. It's another Ulster line out which has malfunctioned. Scannell into McCall. Good support play from Tommy O'Donnell from Munster.
Not interfering.
Duncan Williams shaping to kick, left-footed, and he does. That's a clever one. Little takes it again, gets it away to Piatow. Needs a bit of help, and Munstermen coming in from all sorts of angles, and the crowd incensed by that. Here goes Rodney Ayew. Penalty for holding on in the tackle.
Yeah, Jim, and I don't think there's any argument for that. I think even the ruck before, Munster unlucky. I think it was James Cronin was about to lift it up and he was told not to. I know the rules have changed, but Munster are just competing at every ruck, making a complete mess for Ulster that even when they do win it, they've committed so many people to clean them out that they don't have many options, and they're just running into brick walls. This is a brilliant defensive display by Munster so far, and Ulster are going to need to try and mix it up a little bit. The one-off runners just isn't working.
Well, it was Piatow took it from Rob Little. And Munster, well, the referee was very happy with that, and he was probably right. And Ayew went forward, and he didn't release the ball. He held that ball close to his chest. A fine kick by J.J. Hanrahan gives Munster a great field position. Bit untidy. John Ryan pulls it in and sets it up nicely. Williams, Scannell, the try scorer for Munster. Ayew with the tackle. Williams again. O'Shea spirals out of the tackle of Jean Diesel. Duncan Williams. Hanrahan has a go. Good tackle by Stuart McCluskey yet again. Williams on the far side. The second quarter now, Munster just being patient. They're in the right part of the field. Billy Holland helps to clear it out. That's good work on the ground by the Munster forwards. Hanrahan, Sammy Arnold, great tackle by Christian Liliafano. Enough red jerseys there to win the ball cleanly. O'Shea's absolutely thumped by Ulster. Rob Herring the man in particular. Billy Holland the skipper.
He was cleaning you out.
Hanrahan couldn't get away from Rob Herring. Williams, Scannell. Kyle McCall makes the tackle. Fairly frenetic stuff. Hanrahan. Good work by Alan O'Connor. Zebo. This could be interesting. Here's the fast man, Alex Wooten. Manchester born. Donald took it forward, still there for Munster. All the pressure coming from the visitors yet again.
Point move! Release!
Telling Ulster to get out of the way. Zebo couldn't get it away, but it's gone backward. Now it's Hanrahan again. Now why did he chip that through? It was knocked on by Ulster, so the referee is playing advantage to Munster. And now they knock it on, but they'll go back for the scrum, and Ulster will be relieved even though it's not their put in.
Yeah, they will. I mean, I think they defended pretty well there once they get into 22, but they're just losing so much of that gain line. I'm sure Stevie and Eddie will talk about it at half-time, but when Ulster have the ball, Munster 2-3 man tackles at times when they're finding the one-out runners, but also just can't seem to find that dominant hit right now. That was very fortunate for Munster. JJ Hanrahan trying a bit of a speculative grubber through, but a knock on, and then Munster knew they had the free play just to try and force it. But the defence has been pretty good, Jim, but it's just they're lacking the real physical game-changing hit or somebody over the ball that can really slow it down, and Munster really having the freedom just to try and do what they want. JJ Hanrahan's trying to pull the strings. Zebu's coming more and more into the game now as the ball's able to attack both sides, so they're going to get frustrated, Ulster, and just as long as they can keep their discipline.
Okay, fair enough, okay. I'll keep an eye on it.
Well, the referee has assured Rob Herring he's going to keep an eye on something. I didn't quite hear the
HIA? Okay,
bit
lads, that's
before
HIA
that.
here.
Somebody's got a bang in the head, and they're going to have to go off. I'm not sure that's not the Munster skipper.
Number 5.
Billy Holland is going to
Get
go
on a
off.
substitute for him there.
HIA, so they will bring on a replacement, which should be Fineen Wycherley, the 20-year-old from Bantry, I think, is going to be coming on. So off goes Billy Holland, who followed his father Jerry in playing for Ireland.
Okay, time on.
Replacement is on. It is indeed Fineen Wycherley. He'll go straight into the second row for this pretty important scrum. Not too far from the Ulster line and pretty close to the Ulster touchline, the far side of the field as we look at it from our commentary position.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Munster trying to get the squeeze on, and they've come up in the air. And the referee has given a penalty against the Ulster front row, who have got themselves absolutely minced.
Yeah, that's again another scrum. I think there hasn't been one where the ball's come out of yet. Each one's ended up with some kind of short arm or long arm, and it's frustrating for Ulster. I'm surprised the ref didn't let that go on, but I think he's trying to explain he had to stop it. But you could see Munster just trying to play this pressure game, Jim, and eke out a penalty try or a shot to the corner here to try and get another maul over the corner.
And they've gone for the line out to try to do what they did not that long ago. After just 14 minutes when they went ahead, 10 minutes have elapsed. Scoreboard hasn't been further troubled, but Munster are in a terrific position. A lot of anxious Ulster faces. They know that an Ulster loss tonight would open up a very serious gap between themselves and the Scarlets, who lead the group, and Leinster. Here go Munster again, and Ulster once again are not in any great position to defend, and Munster going for a second drive over try, and they've got the second drive over try, and it has not been a good night for Ulster, because guess what? Niall Scannell has got his second try of the evening.
Word number 2 there, Hitchy.
Yeah, Jim, it's a worrying sight, I guess, for the Ulster fans and for the Ulster team that they're going backwards so quickly. That's, as we sort of said, Munster, when you get Munster after they lose, it's never you know you're going to be in for a difficult night, because they'll be reeling, and their loss last week again, as I've mentioned previously, just had them fired up for tonight. And the pack, Munster's pack, have been phenomenal tonight. I think they obviously, a lot of those boys didn't play last week against Leinster, but they've out here with a point to prove. A lot of them didn't play in the European back-to-back, and they're trying to say that they should be in for a shout when the next 2 games come up in a fortnight's time. So it's a pretty impressive performance so far, and Ulster will be just seeing what they can do to get back into it.
Well, they caught the ball well, and initially Ulster seemed to have enough men to stop the drive, but Munster just changed the point of the drive, and Ulster simply couldn't cope with it. So he's missed with a penalty and a conversion, JJ Hanrahan. And he's missed again, so it could be a lot worse for Ulster, but to be honest, Ian, not much worse. 25 minutes gone and Ulster 10-0 down.
No, Jim, 10-0, but as you said, at least with those 3 missed kicks, they're still within touching distance, and it does seem like a strong wind at times. Hopefully second half playing towards Memorial, Ulster can go back into it, but they'll definitely be hoping to try and get on the scoreboard before half time to give some confidence.
Ulster 0, Munster 10. Restart kick well taken in by Alex Wooten on the far side.
Tommy O'Donnell takes it forward from Munster.
Williams. Has he kept that in field? Yes, he has. Well taken there by Charles Piatow. But Niall Scannell, double try score, gives him no room. And Ulster get what I think is probably their first penalty of the evening.
Yeah, nice ironic cheers from the crowd, and Treadwell in nicely with Clutie. And do you know what, Jim, in an Interpro you don't mind a little bit of this. Shows that actually Ulster are a bit embarrassed by the fact they're 10-0 down, and it's just good to see a bit of fire, and hopefully they can bring that onto the play now and not just off the ball.
Well, a handbag or two swung. Let's hear from Eddie O'Sullivan.
Hey Jim, yeah, it's been tough going for Ulster at the moment. You know, 2 driving mauls again. The defence is poor as it was in Galway, and also the penalty count heavily against them. They're playing a lot of rugby in their own half, a lot of east-west rugby, not much penetration. Munster, you know, dominating field position. So at the moment, I think Ulster need to make a statement. They've got a great opportunity here. They've got a penalty right in the corner. I think they need to make this count, Jim, and get back into the game.
I think just about everybody here at the Kingspan Stadium would agree with those sentiments, Eddie. Fine kick that was by Christian Liliafano, right into the corner. That's as good a kick out of hand as we've seen all season. And Ulster must turn possession and territorial advantage into points. And look at that, Darren O'Shea picked that one off. So that's the 3rd misfiring line out for Ulster, whose forward effort is simply not up to the mark. Duncan Williams gets it away. Into touch, Craig Gilroy. Sensory leaves it alone. There was no point in him trying to gather that in. And Ulster have the line out. That's really pretty poor stuff in, isn't it?
It is, and it can be difficult sometimes to know whether it's the lifters, the jumpers, the hookers, whatever it is, but I think that's 3 from 3. But they haven't managed to have a good attacking platform off. They've won one scrappy line out, and it's just hard to get any momentum, Jim, to exert pressure, and Munster just able to release any pressure that Ulster have been trying to build.
Herring again. That's better. Cooney got it away under difficult circumstances. John Deisel gets across the Munster 10-metre line. Slow ball for Cooney. Greg Jones. Cooney again. Nicely away. Well, not quite by IU. And here goes Deisel. Has to go to the ground. Liliafano. Now Darren Cave. Knocked forward by Ulster, and nothing is going right for the men in white.
No, Jim, even when the half break, the offloads aren't sticking, and I guess this is where you want your captain or a leader of the team just to grab each other in and go, right, let's just hold on to the ball, simple plays, whatever the simple patterns are, whether it's McCluskey with the gain line, then Dice around the corner, and just get through the phases, and no offloads, unless you're really making eye contact and 2 hands on the ball. There's just no point in forcing, because right now there's no pressure being exerted. They're not getting anything. It just gets frustrating, and players try and force, and Munster just lapping this up pretty easily, and no doubt will take a couple of phases, then play the corner and keep the pressure on.
Just over 10 minutes remaining in what has been a pretty poor first half from an Ulster perspective. Trailing Munster by 10 points to 0, and had JJ Hanrahan been on target with his kicking, it could have been much more.
You're pre-engaged. We just need to make some space. You need to be bound. Yeah. Don't put too much weight through the second rows, please. Same here. Hold the weight.
Munster, they're all international front row, and James Cronin, Niall Scannell, and John Ryan trying to re-establish himself as the backup tight head to the wonderful Tadhg Furlong.
Bind! Set!
Solid looking Munster scrum. That's not going to budge, I don't think. Now Williams will have to play this, and he does run the narrow side. It's not a bad kick. Ooh, Piatow, and he's carried it over the dead ball line, and where's he going? And he's got himself ambushed, and that's going to be a 5-metre scrum to Munster, and this could be further points for the men in red.
Indeed, Jim, that is just brilliant game management by Duncan Williams. As we were sitting up here in the stand, it's not obvious on TV, but you could see how Alex Wooten, Simon Zebo and Calvin Nash, they were all manipulating how they were moving around the backfield, which meant that Rob Little, Craig Gilroy and Charles Piatow were all moving, and they couldn't get themselves set as they would like. And it's just great game management, and credit to Felix Jones, who's obviously just picking up as a back three player himself how the small subtleties can affect the opposition defence, and just so easy, just going 8-9 down. Pinar was the king of it here at Ulster all those years, and let's just see what happens now.
Well, Munster with 2 tries already, looking for a third before the interval.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Right. Is Jack O'Donoghue going to try to pick up and drive on the narrow side? There's the drive, and they're shunting Ulster back, and the penalty's been given against Ulster. And Munster, I'm pretty sure, may just go to the corner. And what would you do?
I can't play advantage.
I think they've been so dominant, Jim. I would nearly just go scrum again, because you just don't know where the line out, how they could potentially lose it. I'm surprised again that
if he stands up, okay?
Well, there's a ref explaining why he can't, but that looked like they were almost over the line, so it'll be interesting to see what happens, but I think they're calling to go again, and they're just so much dominant.
It's a rather disconsolate Ulster fan.
So you need to maintain it, maintain the space.
Again, referee Sean Gallagher asking him to maintain the space between the front rows before he asked them to pack down.
It's okay, you've got it.
Brand new front row for Ulster.
Hold the space now.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
I have a feeling that the Munster pack will have penalty try on their mind. Kyle McCall's put his hand down, now he picks it up again. I think the touch judge has told the referee that they've come up, and he asked him to do it again. Ulster need to be careful.
They do, Jim. That looked ominous for a second there. You just hear on the referee's mic, the Munster forwards are just talking each other up. They're so confident. They're absolutely buzzing to get into this scrum, and they just seem so confident. We're listening to the referee here warning Kyle McCall. You just see how Ulster just seem to be going into their shell, certainly, whereas this Munster pack are really buzzing and really up for it.
Half time getting ever closer. 6.5 minutes to go. 10-0 to Munster.
Let's go, call! Crouch! Bind! Set!
Williams again. Scannell with the strike. Munster have moved some of their backs infield, but the forwards are going for the push, and they're going for the penalty try at the very least. Good control by O'Donoghue, and they've got the penalty try, and it is very, very depressing from an Ulster perspective to see a pack and white getting shunted back.
Leave it.
No conversion, of course, these days because of a penalty try, but Munster now 17-0 up, so Hanrahan didn't have to try to convert that one.
Yeah, you'll be disappointed though, Jim, even straight in front. I don't think you'd miss that, but that's just another worrying sign, and again, just more small technicalities. You watch the Munster backline just moving around, means that the Ulster back row have to keep their heads up slightly, which means they don't have 8 men on the push, and the way the Munster scrum is going at the minute, if they're not fully switched on, then the inevitable was going to happen.
Well, it's shades of Galway a week ago. Ulster is half-time approaching, have conceded 3 tries, and Keith Earls, the most accomplished footballer, gets it away. Here's Piatow, runs straight into Earls, and the ball has gone forward, and Ulster are compounding every error by adding another error.
Yeah, I can't imagine they've got over 4 or 5 phases, maybe maximum once or twice the time. Earlier on with McCluskey trying the offload, but it must be so frustrating for the coaches up in the stand. I mean, no matter what coaching you do, you can't legislate for lack of discipline and some knock-ons, you know. And look at Tommy, he's obviously frustrated enough, you know.
Both props have to
stay so down. What can ail thee, knight at arms, alone and palely loitering?
Several of them have come up.
I'm sure Tommy would appreciate a little bit of Keats. Bit of a stoppage to the Munster loosehead James Cronin, who's done a very good job. Capped 3 times by Ireland against Argentina, first of all in 2014. Jerry Flannery standing with equipment in hand, doesn't seem to be too bothered, and the Munster coach Johan van Graan must be very, very pleased indeed. They've got Connacht next week, and then a couple of tough games in Europe to negotiate. It's been a terrific couple of weekends in Europe for the Irish sides, all 4-1 in the respective competitions on 2 successive weekends. But now it's back to the old meat and 2 veg of the inter-pros. And at the moment, Munster are eating this one up.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Again, a solid Munster scrum after the feed from Duncan Williams, who waits. Looking at the narrow side, perhaps. Nope. Hanrahan.
8, stop! 8, stop! No, don't, stop! You can't go forward again.
Rob Little's had to keep that in. Here goes Piatau. Got caught in this 22. Seems to be enough white jerseys there to help, though. Treadwell ambushed.
No.
Liliafano, that's not a bad strike at all.
Yeah, good clearance kick there from Liliafano. And Jim, Munster just have come in to this game with a very, very basic game plan. They've made a lot of changes, so they haven't tried to be too complicated, but what they're doing is they're playing the corners, they're playing behind Robert Little, and again they're just manipulating their back line. That they had Simon Zebo's left foot option left of the scrum, and then obviously JJ Hanrahan's right foot option, and it just means they're full position, and then they're just being so physical on direct. They're applying so much pressure to the breakdown, making it so difficult for Ulster.
And they get their set piece right. Scannell to O'Donoghue, despite calls from the Ulster crowd that it might have been a wee bit squint, but it certainly wasn't. And here go the red-shirted men from Munster again, just squeezing the life out of Ulster at the breakdown. Hanrahan. Zebo. First time he's really had to stretch his legs. And that's a nasty one, and Rob Little had to be very clever, and he's carried that into touch, and that's going to give Munster, I'm pretty sure, in the line out 5 metres from Ulster's line.
It is it's very basic rugby, Jim, and very well executed. Zebo's left foot is obviously a massive option. They decided to play the certain starter play that meant that Piatau had to come up in the defensive line, leaves his kick space open, and that left foot, great judge. Whether Rob Little was under pressure, he had to play it.
And to combine things, Craig Gilroy is down, and it doesn't look wonderful. He seemed to get twisted in the tackle.
2 minutes.
Pretty resilient fella, Craig Gilroy. 157th appearance.
Wrong, Begsy. It says 37-14.
He's fine, though. Well, he's not fine at all, but he'll maybe just trying to stay on the field for the last couple of minutes of this game.
Yeah, I think you'll probably try and get through to half-time, Jim. Just like a bit of a dead leg, I think, as Zebo's making the kick. But Munster's forwards' eyes will light up now, won't they? They'll be really looking forward to trying to get this bonus point and the hat-trick for Niall Scannell.
Step 4.
All 3 Munster tries so far have been through the agency of a dominant pack, and can they make it 4 and a bonus point by the interval? Not with an overthrow like that, they won't. Nick Timoney. Might just be the first time we've mentioned him. Not his fault, mind you. Cooney to get it away, needs to find his touch, and that's a very good clearance by John Cooney, and Ulster needed that.
They did. That was a great clearance and well swept up by Nick Timoney. So unusual for a Munster line-out to malfunction, but I would imagine, Jim, same old recipe: catch, drive, look for a penalty, if not crash up midfield, and then look for a penalty, and if not, play the corners. It's effective, so they're going to keep doing it.
Munster's ball. It's time to get it right. Finning butcherly got above everybody. Another youngster, just 20 years of age. And there's that Munster drive, and again Ulster just starting to creak a little bit.
Go back, right.
They need to get men round to take on the ball carriers. How that came out, I've no idea.
Yeah, I think it was another kick attempt by Duncan Williams. He saw that, I think it was Craig Gilroy was up on the line, and you can just see as we're sitting up here, a lot of space in behind. So again, Munster, good field management, good game management. You can just see Breck's blind here with his left foot. Great block by Cooney, otherwise Ulster could have been in trouble.
Keep the space.
Still Munster ball. Bit untidy, but Clute gets it away. JJ Hanrahan slipped it away to Sammy Arnold, formerly of Ulster. Now here's Hanrahan. Zebo, beautifully picked up by Calvin Nash. Good tackle by Timoney. Duncan Williams. Hanrahan to his loose head prop, James Cronin, who goes to ground. Again, it's Williams. Zebo. It's very un-Zebo-esque, I have to say. He spilled that one. Just took his eye off it for a second. And Ulster will get the scrum, and maybe the referee will have somebody will have a wee word in his ear just to say that we played the 40 minutes, but I think there is time for the scrummage.
Yeah, I think they're going to take it. It was great pressure. I think it was by Lealiafano. He was pretty obvious what the move out the back was to Zebo, and he did very well to shut that down. There he goes fast through, and Zebo just sees that, but it's the kind of energy Ulster need, but working together. This is good defence here by Nick Timoney, I think it is. A double hit, and that's the kind of hits that Ulster need to be putting in, the dominant hits, but Munster still make such quick balls, it's hard to do anything.
And a very decent assist by Rob Herring, who's Ulster's most capped player of all time. Andrew Trimble waiting to come on for cap number 227 or maybe 228. I've lost count really. Big John Ryan.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Better Ulster scrum. Cooney. Now it's Piatow. Steps back inside. Gilroy outside him. Here comes Cooney. Rodney Ayew needs to make sure he releases it, and he does. Cooney. Lealiafano. All right through his Timoney, and he's got pace. That's good support from John Cooney. Now can Ulster get a point or two or three before the interval? Cave. It's McCluskey with Cave outside him. Better stuff from the men in white. Gilroy has a pop himself, runs into Cluter. Greg Jones. Well, the home crowd in full voice for the first time this evening. Kieran Treadwell from Lealiafano. Darren Cave. Claim for a high tackle. Here comes McCluskey. First real concerted piece of attacking by Ulster. Rodney Ayew is stopped by James Cronin. They've been battling away in the scrum all the time. Referee has told Munster to leave it alone. Ulster have got the penalty at the very least. Lealiafano, Cave, steps inside Cluter. Referee still playing advantage. Slow ball for Ulster. Digel, a little bit on the upright side, was absolutely walloped there by Calvin Nash and by Keith Earlsville. They come back for the penalty, and I guess the 3 points would be something to get on the board.
Yeah, Jim, absolutely, especially turning around to play towards Memorial Clock. Great break there by Nick Timoney, lovely ball by Lealiafano, and just lovely support play by Ulster flooding through. But again, good defence by Calvin Nash on that break. He managed to get into the passing channel that when Stuart McCluskey looked up, even though there was a bit of an overlap, he couldn't force the pass, he couldn't get the pass away. So Ulster, they look like they might be going to the corner, which is interesting when it's only 17 points, but maybe they fancy the chance to have a pushover.
Well, the ball has to go into the corner, and Christian Lealiafano has struck it very nicely. So Rob Herring, the Ulster skipper, has made a very big call.
It is, and obviously hindsight will tell us whether it's the right thing or not. I would imagine the likes of Rory and stuff might have taken the points, but this seems to be the new way teams are doing nowadays, so let's see how they go.
Well, having gone for the corner, they've got to get the line out, and they have got the line out. That was good work by Ulster at the front, and Munster compiling in, not allowing Ulster to get any momentum. Rob Herring with the ball tucked under his arm, still trying to churn forward. And Munster have defended that one extremely well, and they've shoved Ulster into touch, so the gamble didn't pay off, and no points for Ulster at the end of a first half which has been totally dominated by Munster, who are scampering off like spring lambs here at a chilly Kingspan Stadium.
Yeah, Munster will be buoyed by that as much as they have been, as they would have been by a try at the other end. Great defence by Munster, which sort of sums it up, and I think that the discipline of Munster tonight has been impressive. I think that was only the second penalty, and they're just so physical, Jim. They're doing the basics very, very well. They're getting through the phases and playing a good field position. So be interested to see what Les does at half-time. I'm sure there'll be a few harsh words said and whether or not there are a few changes, but also need to do something different second half.
Well, Munster have dominated this first half. Tries by the forwards, 2 by hooker Niall Scannell and 1 a penalty try. Just 1 conversion, but at half-time it's not looking great for the men in white. It's Ulster 0 and Munster 17.
Well, Munster have never won 3 times in a row in Belfast, but they put themselves in a great position of doing that this evening. Their forwards have been dominant. They have powered their way over for 3 tries against a disjointed Ulster team, and it's the visitors who are deserved leaders by 17 points to 0. Stephen Ferris and Eddie O'Sullivan are with me. Stephen, from an Ulster point of view, oh dear, it just seems to have continued from Galway, that disappointing performance.
Oh, it's not good viewing. It's just no confidence within the squad at all, and when they go down on the scoreboard, it almost looks like there's no way back. Even there just before half-time, that's how you defend them all. That's the way you want these Ulster players to climb through and get everything to get the Munster player in the touch. It's just like, give the ball to Munster. Will we go up in the line-out? Will we stay down in the line-out? What way about defending it? Everybody's at 6s and 7s. Nobody really knows what they're doing. When they get the ball, they give it straight back to Munster. It's really not good.
It seems to be an Ulster team which has lost its way, Eddie, against a Munster team which is just doing the simple things well tonight.
Well, if you look at the body language between the two teams, it's night and day. Munster are really hungry. They want the ball. They want to take on Ulster. Ulster, when they have the ball, are playing a lot of lateral rugby, not much penetration, the odd little line break, but nothing to trouble Munster. And then they're being out-positioned in terms of Munster dominating field position, pinging the corners, keeping Ulster pinned back. And it looks like the fight's gone out of Ulster a bit at the moment. You know, they lift it a little bit now and again, but there's nothing really to get the crowd on their toes here and start shouting for them. And that's sad to see, because we're back in Connacht territory at the moment, and it's terrible to see Munster going in at half-time, 1 more try for a bonus point, for 4-try bonus point. That's not counting whether they win or lose. They're 1 try away from a bonus point there already, and that's hard to believe.
Munster must have been watching many of Ulster's video nasties from recent weeks, because it's carbon copies of tries that they've conceded from big rolling mauls, Stephen.
Absolutely. If I was in the Munster coaching setup, I would have looked at that game last week in Galway, and this is the first thing he would do, would be go to the maul, sow that seeded out once again, and from the off, the first time, look at this, they're almost at a jogging pace here, going through it. All the Ulster boys not working together, working individually, just hitting it. Very, very silly, and from that there, this is where Munster built their pressure. And
you find, Eddie, if Munster get an opportunity like this close to Ulster's line, you almost feel as if they're going to score, don't you?
Well, I think Ulster got out of jail before half-time. Munster overthrew a line out, and that got them out of the... If Munster had caught that, it's hard to imagine that Ulster would have stopped them. And then we saw the mirror image of Stephen referred to. You know, you see Munster here building the wall to keep the pressure on, then they hinge around the corner, like Connacht did, very effectively, and the white jerseys can't recover in time. The momentum has gone to Munster's way, and then you see the complete opposite just for here at half-time. Ulster go to the corner, Munster just batten down the maul, climb through and disrupt it. And at the moment it's men against boys up front. It's hard to know what's going on in the backs, because we haven't seen much in the backs anyway.
Yeah, but the boys, once they hit the maul and they get spun out of it, they're walking around to get back into the maul. You know, just a bit more effort. Get up and get far back into it and get a teammate with you, and 2 of you hit it, not just all individual efforts. Just the work rate there in maul defence just isn't good enough for me.
And once Munster sniffed an opportunity like that, I mean, a couple more forward orientated tries before half time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, it's a mirror image of the first try. I mean, just again, Munster take the step back initially to absorb the pressure, then find a hinge, get around the corner, and there's no stopping it from that distance. And the troubling thing as well is that the scrum has been an area of problem as well. So the tight area, the maul and the scrum have been problematic for Ulster, and Munster are happy to play that game all night long. No problem there.
Let's call it how it is. Munster are dominating this Ulster pack. You know, John O'Gibbs wasn't there in Galway last week. They might have had an excuse. He's here tonight. This just isn't good enough. They're getting absolutely dominated.
As Connacht did.
As Connacht done the same thing. So, you know, it's got to be addressed at half-time. The winning match.
How do you change that?
Well, I think it goes back to the first point I made, Stephen, that there's no confidence. The boys look like they're playing with no confidence out there. They're going lateral, they're going backwards in attack. When they do get an opportunity to kick to the corner, they just give up too easily for me. They just give up too easily for me. So that just has to come within the player. You know, the boys got to look at each other, grab each other by the scruff of the neck and say, right, boys, that wasn't good enough. Let's go out and put it in.
They've got to bring some energy in the second half. They've got to bring energy when they have the ball and when they haven't the ball. They've got to hold on to it, be very physical and get off the line defensively. And they've also played a little bit smart. They can play in their own half because Munster don't have to do anything here, only wait for a mistake. But it's about energy, it's about application, it's about guys fronting up. And we hate saying it. We talked about this before the game, we're talking about it again at half time. But if they don't, they're going to be humiliated here the way Munster are going. Munster will do this all night as long as it takes.
OK, we'll chat more in a moment. One man who will find that first half performance pretty hard to watch is the Ulster club captain, Rory Best. He's with Gavin Andrews.
Steve, thank you. Rory, we'll get to the first half in a moment, but first of all, state of play with your injury. Are we going to see you back soon?
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, this Saturday I think is very realistic for me. It's been a bit of a slow process, just the infection, and I just ended up hospitalised for a few days, which wasn't great. But no, the last few days training have went well for me.
Tough watching the team at the best of times, but after Connacht and after that first half, what are your feeling on things?
Look, it's very frustrating. I feel like I've got the short straw to be out here doing a bit of media after that, and I think ultimately we knew what Munster were going to come. You know, especially when they rest a few of their frontline internationals, they're going to come here, they're going to revert to type, and they're going to try to take us on up front. And I don't think we've really fired a shot there. The frustrating thing is when we have got a bit of ball and made a few breaks, we're under so much pressure that we feel we have to force an offload to try to get a score straight away, and we've just turned the ball over cheaply, went to scrum, and we struggled a little bit there, especially in the first quarter.
What would you be saying if you were in the dressing room, the guys in the studio suggesting there's a lack of confidence, the guys just need to shake themselves?
Yeah, well, I think you can't really walk into the changing room and start talking like that. You know, it has to be now. It's still only 17 points. Thankfully, you know, JJ Hanrahan missing those two kicks has kept us in with a bit of a shot. We just got to claw our way back into it. We've got to physically match them up front. We've got to get field position, whether it's kick or run. And we got to turn the tide and start to put a little bit of pressure on them. All the pressure's been on us so far, so we've got to find something, but it has to come up front. We know what Munster are going to do.
Big month coming up, 3 huge games after this one. Has the form been worrying, and can it turn around?
I think obviously the Connacht game was worrying, just in the way the game got away from us, and this has been worrying in just in the way that the scrum and the line out maul D has malfunctioned a little bit. So look, we'll see what we do in this next 40 minutes before we get too worried. But obviously we have a big month ahead, and we wanted to sort of spring into 2018 with a big performance. We haven't had it in this 40, and we're going to have to roll up our sleeves, and we're going to have to dig deep, and we're going to have to see a lot of character from boys, and we're going to have to see a bit of reaction that we haven't seen so far.
Okay, Rory, thanks for your time.
Cheers, Gav.
Worrying, says the Ulster captain. Malfunctioning was the word he used, and certainly when we look at the lineouts tonight, I mean, Ulster are heaping pressure on themselves as well by losing lineouts, aren't they?
They are. Very strong words there from Rory Best, but very honest. And it is a worry, you know, when the basics are letting you down. You know, you're guaranteed usually in an Ulster team to have a 90% success rate in the line-out. We haven't seen that the last couple of weeks. Boys reaching for balls, lift's not good enough. You know, in Moldy, are you competing, are you staying down? Everything just seems to be just that little bit off. And when you're playing against a good team in Munster, they'll pounce on that. And anything that hits the deck, it seems to be the Munster boys that are first to react. The Munster boys are down on it. They're diving on those scraps, and then they're getting themselves out of jail. So Ulster need to go back to the basics, like Rory said. Get the set piece, get a little bit of territory, and you know, try and get a foothold in this game, because at the minute they don't have that.
And Eddie, as Rory himself said, you know, when Ulster do have the ball, we saw McCluskey make a couple of great breaks. They just seem to try to force it because they feel they have to, and then turn it over.
Yeah, that's a confidence thing as well. You just want to make a breakthrough, get some energy into the game, get the crowd behind them. So they're forcing the game a wee bit here. And it's a pity, because they've had some good field positions, just haven't converted. You had 3 lineouts 5 metres out, turned them all over, had a maul 5 metres out, got turned over, and all those moments that you could build some energy into the game have gone awry, and Ulster have nothing to show for their efforts. And really, Rory is right about one thing. It's still only a 17-point game. And one more score. Ulster get a try here first, get 7 points on the board. They're back in the game, and maybe they can energise themselves, but they're going to have to bring the energy. It's hard for the crowd here to get behind them when they're not really giving them anything to cheer about.
And need to improve the breakdown like here, Stephen.
Yeah, definitely. The breakdown for me has been an area of concern, and you look at the Munster players there. Once a boy gets over that breakdown, the other guy, he almost latches onto him and holds him and keeps him in there. You know, he's not getting in after the ball as well, and that's very, very smart. That's something that they've been working on, something that I've noticed in the Munster game over the last couple of weeks, and it's just smart play. You know, it's getting the referee on your side, and tonight the referee has given all the penalties in Munster's way. Why? Because the boys are playing the referee, they're putting the ball in the right areas of the pitch, and they're just all over them like a rash at the minute.
And Munster could have had another score perhaps, but for some pretty good Stuart McCluskey defending.
Absolutely. I mean, it was an advantage play, so Munster went back to the far side and took them all. But again, Ulster are here just on the edge of breaking the line again and getting caught for another 5-pointer. And as I say, like, it's very hard to play the way Ulster are playing at the moment, because they're on the back foot most of the time, and when they're on the front foot, they're making mistakes. But this great cover tackle here by Stuart McCluskey, it's a try-saving tackle. But Munster went back to the far side, built them all and scored anyway. So you don't want to put yourself in those positions. And look, Rory Best said it, they've got to roll up their sleeves here and take the game to Munster. Can they claw back 17 points? It's going to be tough, but we've got to find out if they'll even try and do that.
Well, if they're going to, they're going to have to try and produce a little bit of magic, as opposed to the way Cooney did with his break, which was Ulster's one big opportunity the first half.
Yeah, that's one of the big positives for me in this Ulster team this season has been John Cooney. He's been playing really, really well, and he's always trailing in the inside there, Eddie. He's always lingering about, waiting for that offload, but again, he just throws the ball away.
Yeah, he got a bit isolated. I mean, Zebo did very well defensively, showed him the outside, knowing he could reel him in and put Cooney on the ground, but again, Cooney forced it and let Munster off the hook, you know.
Okay, Eddie, Stephen, thank you very much indeed. Ulster trailing Munster by 17 points to 0. Can the home side get themselves back into this game? Let's find out and rejoin Ian Humphreys and Jim Neely.
Krista Niliafano, who has arguably 3 more games for his adopted province after this one, gets the second half underway. Ulster have changed both prop forwards. Wearing number 17 is Callum Black, who's come on, and wearing number 18 is Vian Herb. So Kyle McCall and Rodney Ayew, having played very little or no rugby in the last couple of months, have gone. And first of all, it's Callum Black in with a tackle on the Munster second row, Darren O'Shea. Munster 3 tries to the good at the interval, 1 more for the bonus point, and all have come through the forwards. Bit of a miscue, a rare miscue from Duncan Williams. That was gathered in by Alex Wooten. John Ryan. Tackle was by Herbst initially. Again, Williams shaping to kick down this near touchline.
Use it!
We've brought that in field nicely. Gilroy goes up for it. Knocked back by a Munster hand, otherwise McTimoney might well have been offside. Here comes Ryan again into Darren Cave, who, as has been documented, a late replacement for the unwell Louis Ludick. Wycherley, the replacement for Billy Holland, who doesn't look as if he's coming back on. Tommy O'Donnell is there, and again Williams kicks, and you can see there's a stiffish breeze holds that up. Well taken by Munster, knocked on by Munster. Referee's playing advantage, and they'll come back just as well, because the poacher-in-chief, Keith Earls, thought he was going to scamper underneath the post for the bonus point. A let-off.
It was indeed, Jim, and Munster with Duncan Williams and Alex Wooten just showing how to play into the wind and exit. 3 kicks, not trying to kick it too far into that wind, just allowing Wooten to get up and challenge, and he wins first 2, and very unfortunate to hold that third when he had it and it just popped out and hit his foot, and you could almost get away with the fact that he kicked it and also would have been in trouble. But a good start by Munster, and Ulster now first scum of the new props will be looking to set down the mark at the start of the second half.
It's a fair old track from the province of Munster at this time of the year, but quite a number of fans have made it. Stephen Fitzgerald is on, wearing number 23 for Munster. A late replacement, incidentally, for Ronan O'Mahony. He's gone on the right wing, so Calvin Nash has gone off. Cooney, he had a bit of a snap at his forwards there before the ball was put in that scrum. Darren Kay gets it away nicely. The Piatow, well taken by Rob Little, who had to stretch. And one bounce, and he was free. Cooney. Greg Jones into contact. Tough Munster tackling. Cooney again. Piatow. A little bit better this from Ulster. Now can the All Black inspire Ulster as he's done so many times this season? There's a Springbok, John Dysel. That's better from him. Now Cooney. Liliafano. Bit of a high tackle there by Tommy O'Donnell, the crowd reckon, but it's not the crowd that counts. Cooney again. Ulster's momentum just checked. Greg Jones, help from Callum Black. Gilroy. Piatow being more prominent than he was in the entire first half. Nick Timoney playing at 7 for the first time for Ulster. Liliafano, nicely done. McCluskey had Robert Herring outside him, but he set it up nicely. Cooney again. Good work at the breakdown by Ulster's scrum half. And Greg Jones again.
You're fine.
Liliafano.
Advantage.
Ulster's got the advantage. Well, it's within kicking range for Cooney, but given what happened just before the interval, Ulster may be inclined to go into the corner. What do you think, Ian?
Yeah, I think this early in the half they probably should just chip away and try and get the 3 points, but a lovely starter playing. That's where Darren Cave's decision making is so good. He just takes it, draws the defender and offload to Piatow. Just unfortunate that Robert Little had to hesitate or had to go to ground to make the catch, but good then discipline by Ulster to get through the phases. What we complained about first half with them not doing, and they're just, when the likes of Liliafano, whenever Cave, whenever Piatow get their one-on-ones, they can just get over the gain line, get the hands free.
What do you want to do, fellas?
If Ulster Pack could just get them over the gain line a little bit more to make it that bit easier. And also going to make a change here.
Dysel's got himself injured, and looks as if Matt Ray is going to come on. They've got Robbie Dyack as well, who's the second row cover mainly. So John Dysel's got a bang in the face, and I don't know whether it's a blood substitution or not. We'll soon find out. He's running off as if it is, as if he's going to get some treatment. It may be a stitch, and it is a blood substitution, we've been informed. So Matty Ray is on.
Yeah, good to see another local lad back on the pitch. He showed up well last week when he came on down in Galway. Some physicality and some energy, and hopefully now Ulster can win this line out and get a good maul over. It'll be a perfect start to the second half.
It would be a huge psychological boost if they could do that, given that they conceded 2 tries from similar situations to Munster in the first half. Crucial throw this. Well taken at the back by Greg Jones. That's better from Ulster. They've worked it back to Rob Herring, the skipper, who scored a try or 2 in his time here at the Kingspan from this kind of a position. But Munster have been very smart and have dug in. And here go Ulster again. They'll have to play this one. No, Herring decides to go himself, and he's done well. Munster not retreating all that terribly quickly. Alan O'Connor looking for a second league try. Likewise, Callum Black goes to ground. Cooney, Matty Ray. Good work by the former Ballymena Academy pupil. Taken on by Darren Cave. Cooney again. Liliafano to no one in particular. Not like him, you have to say. No, but that was unfortunate. There was a decent chance there, and all they had to do was keep possession.
Yeah, they'll be pretty frustrated with that. That was great play all round. Some good carries by the forwards, and then big hit on, and this is when probably a hit behind the gain line. You maybe look to go back, narrow back blind side, and you can see he's trying to hit Charles. Piatow obviously expecting him to go on an overs line, and Piatow just lack of communication. So a bit frustrating, but positive start to the second half.
Just 6 minutes played. 17-0 to Munster at the interval. 3 tries, 2 from Hooker Scannell, 1 a penalty try. Good take by Ulster. It was a good steal. Now it's Cooney. Lost his way a wee bit. Callum Black sets it up and drives. Tackle was by O'Shea. O'Connor again. Rob Herring. That's good work by the Ulster forwards, who seem to have upped their game a little bit. McCluskey. Good support play in the middle of the park. Now it's Cooney. Liliafano back inside to Treadwell. This is better from Les Kiss's men. Referee's given the penalty against Munster. John Cooney in no uncertainty about what he wants to do with it. Ball has been put away, so Ulster can't take it quickly, but the penalty stands.
Yeah, some good sportsmanship there by Earls and Zebo. I think McCluskey's looking for a quick tap penalty, and Keith Earls knocks out of his hand, and Zebo kicks into the crowd. But brilliant steal by Greg Jones, and another good few carries by Ulster. And this is a great start, Jim. We all know that they like playing towards the memorial clock, so an early score here could just give them the momentum, give them the confidence to really fire through. And you see those clean-outs, they weren't doing that in the first half. They're smashing the Munster players well beyond the ball, which then means that they're having to cheat to try and slow it down.
Well, Ulster have opted for the scrummage. So with two shiny brand new prop forwards on, they may just feel that they might give them a bit of an advantage. One change in the Munster side, remember, from the 15 that started. Two changes, I should say. Stephen Fitzgerald on the wing, and Fineen Wycherley on in the second row for the injured Munster skipper Billy Holland, who hasn't come back.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
That's a good scrummage from Vian Herbs. He's got the back straight. It's a very good bit of scrummaging from the South African. Here goes McCluskey, taken off at the ankles by his former teammate. Here goes Rob Little.
Advantage, white.
Black referee still playing advantage for Ulster. All the pressure coming now from the men in white. Spilled forward by Rob Herring, who was lurking out wide, but they'll still come back for the penalty because Ulster got no advantage. Better stuff now at the start of the second half in from the home team.
Yeah, massively, and I would imagine Clutie's going to be under pressure here, or Tommy O'Donnell perhaps. Just again at the breakdown.
Similar to them in the first half, in this area of the pitch, you've had 3 penalties against your team, 2 at the breakdown and 1 offside the backs at that scrum. You need to have a word with them and get them changed for you. I will give you a word, let you have time. Just wait.
Niall Scannell has taken over the captaincy of the Munster side, and the referee Sean Gallagher is going to give him a second or two just to explain the situation and what he wants to his side.
Yeah, it's a fine balance for Munster. Obviously they created so much trouble for Ulster in the first half with competing so hard at the breakdown, but this time he's becoming foul of the referee. I'm sure he'll have known that the penalty count was about 8-3, and he'll be looking to even those out.
And again, Ulster have opted for the set piece. Now they've got 5 backs out on the far side, the Ulster left-hand side, and only Charles Piatow and Craig Gilroy on the near side. So it'll be very interesting to see what the Ulster strategy is here, as Dwayne Peel conjures something up from a set piece like this.
Crouch!
Atty Ray has gone into the middle of the back row for Ulster.
Bind! Set!
Can they get as good a scrum as they did last time out? Munster trying to get a squeeze on, and they've not done it badly. Cooney gets it away. Liliafano gets himself ambushed by, as that was a number Hanrahan. Here come Ulster again, and Munster flying into the tackle. Cooney. Matty Ray takes it on again.
Off your feet now, one, leave it!
And surely that's going to be a penalty to Ulster again. Not so. Callum Black makes a bit of ground for Ulster. Now it's Cooney. McCluskey runs into heavy red traffic in the shape of Big John Ryan. Liliafano, Piatow. Good tackle by Duncan Williams. Cooney again. Alan O'Connor. Cooney has a dart himself, and he's made it. Clever stuff by John Cooney. Referee has not awarded the try, though. He may want to have a little look at that.
Yeah, Jim, I don't know whether he's going to look for crossing or what this is.
Check for a potential obstruction at that last breakdown, so just go back there. Just go back for 1 second.
Well, he's told Rob Herring, the Ulster captain, that he wants to check for a possible obstruction at a breakdown, which, if it was the case, would completely negate that try-in.
Yeah, this will be. I can't award a try. I just want you to check for a potential.
Well, he said, is there any reason that I can't award the try? But then he's asking him to check something.
We'll check for
It'll be interesting to see. So
obstruction by White. We'll bring it up now.
Great play by Ulster. McCluskey, big carries, the forwards making some prominent carries as well. And it's just what you want from Ulster. The energy that was lacking in that first half is just here now, and they all want to get hands on the ball, and they're cleaning well past the ruck. So we'll see here what happened.
Well, there's the initial clean out. There's nothing much wrong with that. And Cooney goes through.
Listen, that happens at every ruck, Jim. I think it's Greg Jones perhaps is just holding the feet.
Yeah, this is a better one.
It's coming in at the ruck here, side of the ruck, holding John Ryan. He needs to let go now. There's nothing in that. That'll be very harsh if not given.
I don't think John Ryan would have been in any position to get John Cooney.
Yes, I'm just trying to see him with the black scrum cap.
Well, I don't know who's got the black scrum cap. There's the ball went to ground. There's Greg Jones hurtled through, and he did hang on almost instinctively, and there was a dummy from Cooney, and Ryan was nowhere, so Ulster will be mightily disappointed if that try's not given.
I reckon, Jim, in Thomond Park, this is no try, in Ravenhill, it is a try.
Red number 3 past the breakdown. It created the gap for the attacking player to go down, so it's no try for me. And
oh dear, Ulster will be absolutely furious with that. Well, Kevin Beggs at TMO and Sean Gallagher seem to be in agreement.
It stopped the opposition player making a tackle, so it's no try. No try.
No try, and it's a penalty against Ulster.
Yeah, for me that's a terrible decision, Jim. You could pause every single ruck and there's going to be this happening, and I understand it's a try-scoring situation, but geez, come on, John Ryan doesn't even look like he's trying to get out of that ruck, so frustrating for Ulster, but I think as long as they don't lose their heads too much, they just keep the positive play that they've been doing, they've still got a chance in this game.
Well, only 10 minutes have elapsed. It remains Ulster 0, Munster 17. Ulster very close to their first try. Looks like John Deisel is coming back on again, having had some running repairs. John Ryan is going off the field, and another Irish international tight head, Stephen Archer, is coming on. What a great strength and depth they and Leinster have.
Yeah, I mean, John Ryan obviously was on the bench for Ireland in the autumn internationals, but yet he came back, he couldn't get his place back from Stephen Archer for Europe, so a strong replacement for Munster, and there'll be certainly no weaker come scrum time.
He's right at the back of this Munster line-out. Scannell, the captain. That was Darren O'Shea who took it in the middle of the line-out for Munster. And here's the Munster drive that caused Ulster so many problems in the first half. Ulster dug in a little bit better.
He's through the middle.
No hands wide, leave it! Ball is available.
Well, Munster have laboured, but they've won it successfully, and Williams kicks.
Good contest.
Fair contest at the referee, Rob Littleman, and look at the ferocity with which the red shirts hit that ruck. And here's a very clever kick, and Matty Ray's going to have to be very fast, and he is very fast. Taken by his opposite number, Jack O'Donoghue. Piatow with no room in which to move. Good cleaning out by Vian Herbst for Ulster. And Jean Deisel. Cooney has a wee glance to see where Christian Leilafana was positioned, but opts to kick for himself and gets it away nicely.
Jim, another example of how well Munster are playing to win. Duncan Williams with a really good kick, very competitive. Stephen Fitzgerald managed to get up and competing to win, and they're just doing so well in their kick chase, and then just good knowledge, very like Paul Marsh would do. Duncan Williams gets the ruck, then flicks another kick through, and brilliant cover by Matthew Ray, showing a good turn of pace to get back there, because Jack O'Donoghue's very quick. So frustrating from Ulster, but what's really interesting for me is, as we're sitting up here, we can hear the ref's mic pretty clearly through the sound, and the Munster guys are just shouting at each other what to do, who to leave, and we always talk about discipline, and they're telling the guys, let them go, leave on, and they're just listening to the referee, and it's very impressive to sit and watch them from afar.
A bit of an injury to a Munster player on the far side of the ground.
Get a bit of space. Fellas, we need to maintain the space at the line out. I'm going to speak to them as well. I'm going to speak to them. Yeah, we'll sort that out. Thanks.
Well, Sean Gallagher refereeing just as an 8th Pro 14 game is just making sure that the spaces are left properly at the respective lineouts, by the respective forwards at the lineouts.
No, it had collapsed. You can't go down. After it collapses, you can't fall down on the ball unless it's just similar.
Good time to bring in Stephen Ferris for his first thoughts of the second half.
We'll just wait for
Hi Jim, hi Ian. It's a much better start in the second half here by Ulster, getting a bit of ball, winning a few penalties, putting a bit of pressure on this Munster team, but but they still haven't got on the scoreboard. They're still struggling to get across that whitewash, and they really do need to get the first points on the board here in the second half. For me, I probably would have kicked the 3 points just before half time, and then, you know, build the scoreboard. It could have been 17-6 at this time, but now Munster have got the ball and they're on the attack again.
Well, their current captain and hooker has gone off the field now, and Scannell has been replaced by Kevin O'Byrne, who's found a very good line out in his first throw, and he's got it tucked in, and Munster round the side. There goes O'Byrne. Well tackled by John Cooney. Ian Herbst in the midst of all of that. Another replacement, Stephen Archer, takes it on just as far as James Cronin, who's been on from the start. Likewise Williams. Ulster up quickly. Good tackle by Ian Herbst. The ball is out there, but Ulster can't do anything with it. Sammy Arnold goes to deck. Munster just edging forward. Hanrahan, tackled by Rob Herring. Williams waits patiently. Here goes the replacement hooker, Kevin O'Byrne. Not making much ground, but they're keeping the ball and just looking for any little gaps that may just appear in the Ulster defence. Hanrahan, that's knocked forward. No advantage to Ulster, and there's a penalty because the ball was knocked forward by a Munster player, and another Munster player was in front of the ball when it was knocked forward, and that constitutes an offside.
Yeah, nice opportunity now for Ulster to relieve some pressure. Good play by Munster. They weren't doing very much, but you could just watch them up here. Both Duncan Williams and JJ Hanrahan were working the forwards into midfield to create a blind side that Keith Earls very unlucky not to hold on to that pass, but as the big hole opened up, because he could have been away there, you just see the hole between Darren Cave and Matthew Ray. But Munster just looking that they've switched off slightly, and Ulster are great again in good momentum.
Big line out this for Ulster, and they win it. Well away, McCluskey to Piatow at inside centre. Makes good ground, Cooney again. Alan O'Connor, good aggressive running by Ulster's second row. Cooney. Munster fairly evenly deployed on either side of that breakdown. Darren Cave runs into a couple of red jerseys. Here goes Matty Ray again. It's Nick Timoney, the man who's actually left the field. Ulster get the penalty. Surely they'll go to the corner, Ian.
Yeah, I think at this stage they're going to it. There's a yellow card, Jim.
It's going to be a card, and it's Wycherley in the bin. Got himself red carded earlier on in the season over in Glasgow, and served a 3-week ban for a bit of unnecessary discipline, and now he's going to be in the bin for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think Ulster are quite lucky there, because one of the other Munster forwards had managed to lock down on the ball, so the fact that Wycherley hadn't rolled away served well for Ulster. Now yet against 7, they're going to hope. That was a good kick by Lelia Fano into the corner. Ulster hope to get a drive on here, and if they can't push over, expect McCluskey or Brian Winger then to carry next field.
Keep the space, Red.
Well, you need to pick up, they reckon, between 6 and 10 points when the opposition's down to 14 men. This is the starting point for Ulster, but the line out is crucial. Matthew Ray takes it. Well, heave, say the crowd, and heave, the Ulster pack do, and the skipper has got it. Rob Herring's there. They have a fair old bit to go. Stephen Archer has to retreat and come round again, and surely he's in the side again. I don't know what the referee's looking at. He has got the hand out, but it's for collapsing rather than coming in from the side. Cooney. Iliafano, a little dink through, that's gone loose, but they'll come back for the penalty, and Ulster must go to the corner again. Although they might think about the scrum in.
Yeah, Jim, they might. It's hard to see how that's not a penalty try after what happened with Munster in the first half. Rob Herring's about to fall over the line when Stephen Archer came in the side, so a little bit of inconsistency from the referee, whether that's inexperience or what, but Ulster look like they're going to go back to the corner, so hopefully they can they manage to win another minute.
Look at Archer, he was offside, he came right round and he ran through 180 degrees and came in offside again.
Yeah, that's the same with Rodney Ayew and Rob Herring got penalised for in the first half, so that's the frustration as a player, is a bit of inconsistency, and there's no way Ulster weren't scoring there had he not come in the side, so a little bit of disappointing for Ulster that they didn't get the penalty try, but good. If they can just do the same again, then you'd like to think they're going to get over the line.
Nearly 17 minutes of the second half play, the pace has really picked up, and it's been all Ulster in terms of territory and possession, but alas, no points. Better stuff, well taken by Greg Jones.
Go back 6. 7's 18. Go back.
Well, Archer once again gets himself in an offside position. Here goes Herring. Ulster had to go to ground, so they'll have to shift this a little bit. Alan O'Connor. Well tackled by the industrious Archer. What a tackle that was. Well done by Rob Little. Oh, he's done wonderfully to get away. Back inside to Piatow from Craig Gilroy. Knock on was by Munster, referee playing advantage to the home side. Vian Herbst. Cooney again, another man down injured. McCluskey. Darren Cave's through. Darren Cave is going to make it for Ulster. No doubt about that one. And Darren Cave gets in for his 29th league try and his 40th in all competitions. And it couldn't have come at a better time for the home side, who really needed a boost.
They did, Jim, and I think that's fully deserved. Unbelievable hit by Sammy Arnold in midfield and Christian Leilefano, who's still down, but Ulster managed to hold on to possession. Great offload by Stuart McCluskey. That's what Darren Cave's done for the last 10, 12 years, Jim. He might not be the quickest, he might not have the best step, but he hits some incredible lines. He's such an intelligent rugby player that he can pick holes that other guys just miss, and it's great to see. So he's having a look at this hit by Sam Arnold, so unless there's no arms, but it looked pretty good at the time.
Sean, what I'm looking at is the potential high tackle by the red player on the white player who subsequently went down injured.
Well, they're looking at a possible yellow card, at least infringement on the part of Sammy Arnold. There's no question about the try. They're not going to disallow the try. It's just the hit, and was there a high tackle? Oh my word. Well, at that speed, it was actually hard to say. I'd like to have a look at that in slow motion. Here it is. That was an arm into the throat, and that's going to be a yellow card, I'm pretty sure. So Munster could well be down to 13 men. Finding Wycherley off, and that tackle by Sammy Ireland, I have a funny feeling, may just warrant a yellow card.
Yes, one of those ones that always looks worse. Well, let's listen to the ref says.
Zoomed in slow motion. So
slow mo is always worse, Jim, and it just slid up.
Just one moment, it was red 12.
Referee wants to have another look at that in slow motion, because the collision in real time happened so quickly. Oh my word.
I'm going to say I don't think it's too bad. I mean, I think it's one of those ones where Sam hits him so hard that he slides on up. He reads the play so well. I mean, it starts on his chest, but I think he's going to get done.
I have a decision.
Okay, Begsy, I'll tell you what I'm saying. Red 12 has went in to make a tackle. He's actually lunged in. It's high with force. So for me, unless you've got anything mitigating factors to add.
Well, you can hardly hear what the referee, Sean Gallagher, is saying because of the noise of the crowd.
Okay, Sean,
he said it's high with force.
I'll show that last replay one more time.
And they're going to have yet another. They're going to have another look at it. Well, Sammy Arnold, hands and hips.
Just in real time.
Man who played 14 times for Ulster last season before his move to Munster is wondering, is his return to the Kingspan Stadium going to be somewhat acrimonious? It was very quick. He came up like a Nexus set. He clattered Christian Leilefano.
Those are all the angles.
Is there anything different to what I described the last time that you wanted me to take a look at?
No, Sean, that's fine.
Sammy Arnold, I think, knows he's in trouble.
12. No. 12.
He's told Keith Earls to go away, and he's bringing Sammy Arnold over.
No, go away. Thank you.
And he looks somewhat abashed.
You lunged into him. It's high. It's with force. It made contact to the head. It's a red card.
Oh, it's a red card. My word. Well, I thought it was a little bit on the high side. I thought it was yellow card, but it's clearly dangerous because it was high and with force. So it's a red card. And in the meantime, John Cooney's added the points. What a game we have here now.
Yeah, and this is where Ulster really need to make it count now and try and get some more points. By the letter of the law, I guess, if the referee thinks it's high, dangerous to the head, there's no decision to be made, but I think quite harsh. But back to the positive, what a great finish by Darren Cave, and gives Ulster some good momentum now to try and push on and come back in this game.
Well, Darren Cave showed a fair old turn of pace, and Andrew Trimble, he was in more danger from him than he was in the Connacht defence. The Munster defence, I should say, that was a week ago. Have Ulster put that one to bed? We'll find out. So Munster down now to 13 men, and at the best they'll finish the game with 14 because Sammy Arnold's been red carded. Finian Wycherley is in the bin for a yellow card. Ulster gather it in through Kieran Treadwell. Cooney. Greg Jones has put himself about with aplomb this evening.
Stop right.
What a wallop that's been given by Charles Piatow, his opposite number. Simon Zebo whips it infield. Hanrahan with another towering Gary Owen. Knocked back by Ulster and by Charles Piatow. Out to Gilroy. Has a go himself. He's brought it infield, makes it easier for the Ulster forwards. Jones again. Nice offload. O'Connor, better stuff from Ulster. That's nicely done. Piatow out wide to Treadwell. Now Rob Little. That's a clever little dinky kick by the youngest player on the Ulster side, and Zebo gets himself ambushed and into touch. And as we reach the final quarter of this game with 10 points between them, Ulster's tails are up.
It is, and they definitely have momentum now, and at the minute you nearly fancy Ulster for the game. And brilliant play by Robert Little there. He didn't have the opportunity to really put the foot down and have a crack. Lovely hands on the inside of the Ulster forwards. Good decision by Treadwell to give it early, and Robert Little off his left foot. Just a very talented rugby player. Puts under pressure and Zebo with no option but to run it in. So Ulster now want to really turn the screw. If they can score next game and score in the next few minutes, then game's on.
Munster, I think, have made a change in the front row. Coming on for his first cap is Jeremy Loughman. In the meantime, we'll worry about that in a minute. Ulster have gathered the ball in. Rob Herring pops it away. Now it's Cooney. Rob Little, who's had a very good game. First of the season, remember. Cooney again. Likewise, Greg Jones, who's made good ground. Ulster still churning forward. They need another try or two. Back inside, that's nicely done. Good clearing out though by Munster, but Cooney still has it. Little dart on that narrow side by the former Leinster and Connacht scrum half, now plying his trade up here in Belfast. Alan O'Connor at scrum half, has a go himself. Good presentation. Callum Black and Vian Herbst, Ulster's replacement props. Rob Herring, tackled by Jack O'Donoghue. Narrow side by Ulster. Piatow, they were lining up for him. Good cleaning out though by Ulster. Nick Timoney back on the field. Lealiafano, better stuff by Ulster. Little chip through. Here comes Gilroy. Gets a bounce and he gets the try. Craig Gilroy has done it again for Ulster. 44th league try. And this is 118th league appearance, and that has closed the gap yet again.
Jim, what a kick by Darren Cave. Obviously with Munster down two men, the pendulum with the back three is going to be changing. Darren notices that and puts in a lovely weighted kick. Very good. Ulster's pack. You wonder where it was in the first half. They've been brilliant, they've been very physical, they've been full of energy, and that's a great finish by Gilroy. Just seemed to really want it more. Managed to catch that and spin, and just a replay of the red card. But Ulster's backs now with ball in hand look very sharp. Gilroy, Rob Little, they're just wanting ball in hand. There's so much energy, and it's great to see. You just see everybody pick up of intensity, and hopefully they can just keep this going.
Well, it was snatched at by no less a person than Keith Earls, but Craig Gilroy kept his focus and kept his eye on the ball and got himself over the line for Ulster's second try. And if Cooney converts this, there'll just be a penalty goal or a drop goal between them. That needs to come back in. Alas, it doesn't. So Ulster will have to do it the hard way in. They're going to have to score another try.
They are, Jim, but you know, it might be better for Ulster. They go out there to continue to try and play. They don't just try and pick off a cheap 3 points. If they can keep this intensity up, Munster won't be able to live with them for the last 10-15 minutes. Everybody knows Johnny Davies, how good he is as a strength and condition, how fit this Ulster team will be. So they want to keep this pace up in the last 5-10 minutes, really pick off the scores. And you know, this could end up as a 5-pointer for Ulster, you never know.
Great, thanks.
Robin Copeland, capped once for Ireland, spent a number of years playing his rugby over in Cardiff, has come on. And Tommy O'Donnell has left the field. JJ Hanlon, not in any great rush to restart, and that's a very good restart kick, and that's well taken in once again by Kieran Treadwell. It's one aspect Ulster have got right this week, which they didn't really do in Galway, among other things. Slowish ball for Ulster. Cooney. That's a good attacking kick. Alas, it's not. It's gone straight into touch on the foot. A rare mistake from John Cooney. He's had a good season in.
He's been very good. Obviously under a lot of pressure with Peter leaving. Cooney's played very, very well all season and again all night, and he'll be disappointed that this gives Munster their opportunity to play the power game, to put some pressure on. They're going to maul this. They're going to look for a penalty and just try and chip away the corner. They're going to try and come away from here with the try eventually, obviously.
This is Kevin O'Byrne now. Ulster will have to try to disrupt. 16 minutes remaining. Also need a converted try to win this game. Good take by Munster and by Darren O'Shea, who's been on from the start. Better Ulster defence at the lineup. Clute, who's been actually quite quiet this evening. Chris Clute, the South African, the 26-year-old. Now they make a break for the Ulster line. It's good management of the ball by Munster. O'Byrne again, and Munster do what they do very best, and they've dug in. There was a missed tackle there that allowed O'Donoghue to make some ground.
Away right.
Jeremy Loughman. Clute in with the hands. O'Byrne again. Taken off at the ankles by Chris Jones. Munster looking to put this game beyond Ulster's reach, and if they get a try and a conversion here, that might well happen. Stephen Archer manhandled by Rob Herring. Darren Cave in there as well. Loughman, the replacement prop, again sets it up. Duncan Williams just marshalling everything that's going on behind that breakdown. Clute tries to hurdle.
You can't jump into the tackle.
And the referee has told him he can't jump into the tackle. Ulster taking it quickly, and Charles Pieta was tackled before he was allowed to go 10 minutes, and the crowd asking for another yellow card, which, well, may or may not be considered, but I doubt it somehow.
Yeah, Jim, it's interesting. Munster's discipline's fallen apart the second half, and that's just a strange decision by Chris Clute to try and jump the tackle. He's been watching too much NFL, I think. That's just a bizarre, and then obviously Charles Pieta trying to keep the intensity up, trying to take a quick one.
You need to make sure
you
that
might
your
well
team are
spend
disciplined.
a weekend in Leopardstown watching the races there. That was a fairly decent bit of hurdling.
Yeah, you weren't onside in the first place.
Yeah, it's Jack O'Donoghue asking why he wasn't allowed to make a tackle after Pieta carried it 5 metres.
Are you ready to go?
I think the referee seemed a little bit flustered, but was actually doing very well the second half.
Well, Pieta did run into the aforementioned Jack O'Donoghue after that. And it's Christian Leafano has found a pretty decent touch. Ulster still inside their own half with about 14 minutes of this game remaining. Is it doable for Ulster, Ian?
Yeah, it definitely is, Jim. Munster obviously back to 14 men, but Ulster's intensity, you can see they've got the energy, and as long as they keep their discipline and don't try and force it too early, there's no doubt they're going to have another chance or two to score that winning try.
On their feet, Felix Jones and Jerry Flannery. Very much on his feet is Stuart McCluskey. That was careless by Ulster and sloppy. Referee said the advantage was over, and back goes John Cooney just as well. Not very quickly was Irish international and British and Irish line Keith Earls.
Onside now.
Ulster might just have retrieved that situation, but they've got to do it all again. Here goes Treadwell. Good tackle by the enormous Stephen Archer. Starting most games at 3 for Munster this year. Leafano, has he found his touch? Yes, he has. Contemplated a quick throw, Alex Wooten, but probably quite wisely changed his mind. Well, Sammy Arnold, not the return to the Kingspan Stadium at Ravenhill Park that he anticipated. Red carded for what was considered a dangerous tackle on Christian Leafano. Fineen Wycherley back on the field, standing at the number 2 spot in the line-out and winning it at number 2. Clute was in there as well. Now Ulster looking a little bit fractured there in terms of men to stop that Munster drive. Vian Herbst comes round. They'll need a few more. In comes Timoney, and that's good for Munster. This is just exactly what they did in the first half.
Go back! Never change his mind. Still going forward.
Referee happy that Munster are still moving forward legally.
That's once, 9, that's once.
Now they'll have to play it, and he's knocked it forward. And a little slap on his thigh of sheer frustration from Duncan Williams.
Yeah, good defence in the end, but I think that sort of minute play there just gives Ulster game management, the 9s and 10. They don't want to kick the ball out, Jim. No matter how much pressure they're under, they want to just take one ruck.
Mark's back here.
If the ball goes into touch, Munster are just going to drag the clock down. They're just going to maul it until they can, try and eke out a penalty, just try and run the clock down with 14 men. So Ulster need to try and keep this ball alive, move the 14 men around the pitch to create opportunities for the likes of Piatow, Robert Little and Gilroy to create a chance to win the game.
Let's go.
1910 was the last time that Munster won a third successive game in Belfast. That was a while ago. Even I wasn't around then. Well, ish. Ulster will be bringing on the vastly experienced member of the 200 Cap Club, Robbie Dyack, who'll be coming on, and there he is. Spends a lot of his time playing in the second row now as the years tick on a little bit. A sprightly 32, been here for 10 seasons and has been a pretty decent player, a more than decent player, an outstanding player for Ulster in that period. Greg Jones, one of the new kids on the block, his first year with Ulster, who are under 22, and that's not where they want to be if they're going to win this game as we approach 10 minutes from full time. Liliafano, Piatow,
It's inside.
and he spotted a huge gap there as Zebo came up. That's a huge kick by Piatow, and Zebo has to go all the way back, and he's let it go, and Ulster have pounced. But can they turn this ball over? Munster, I think, have gotten men back very quickly, and they've done really well to retrieve what was a dangerous looking situation. But they're right inside their 22, and the referee will be looking for everything at the breakdown. Well, Munster have been very clever, and they've brought that back in field to give the clearance kickers a little bit more room, and Hanrahan gets it away, but hasn't found touch. Poor pass, but Gilroy did well to gather it. And here goes Gilroy, has a real go himself. Herring gets it away to Liliafano. He's got McCluskey with them. Liliafano. Referee telling Munster men to get away. Matty Ray. Treadwell thought about the pass to Callum Black and sensibly held on. Munster not committing too many to the breakdown now, concentrating on defence on both sides.
No, play backwards.
Play on, says the referee. McCluskey again, Gilroy on the near side calling for the kick. That's not going to be delivered by Callum Black, but the prop makes ground. Now Cooney. Nick Timoney. Good aggressive drive. Over the top, go Munster. Gilroy. Inside to Herring. All the pressure coming from Ulster. Time ticking away though. Timoney again. Down and up, he wasn't held. Cooney. Matty Ray. Thunders forward. Good defending by Munster. Cooney again. McCluskey. Taken by the energetic Cluta. Cooney has a go himself.
Go back 7.
Such energy been put into this last few phases there by this Ulster side, but Munster equal to the task and really digging in. Cooney. Cave. Offside there, I think. Referee's giving a penalty against Munster. Bit of a high tackle.
Yeah, it was, I think, a high tackle just in Darren Cave there, but that's great play by Ulster. They're not trying to force it, Jim. They're staying patient, knowing the opportunity to open up. Good defence by Munster, to give them credit, but you just see these opportunities open up. Cave could just have got that away to, I think it was Liliafano in the wing, but good defence there by JJ Hanrahan, shutting down the options. But Ulster just stay patient, because this has got to go into the corner now. They haven't kicked the goal all night. Kicked the corner here, and then I can't see them not scoring. Famous last words, but I really fancy Ulster from here.
It's John Cooney who puts it into touch. And Ulster will have the throw into the line-out.
Space at the back.
Robbie Dack still not on the field, and Johnny McPhillips poised to come on as well. Christian Leilefano is just hobbling a little bit. He has been a terrific short-term signing for Ulster, but this is the most important line out of the game. Herring with the throw, well taken by Alan O'Connor.
18. No, go back.
Munster replacements being told to get away from the ball. Here comes Rob Herring.
20, move.
Again, Munster's number 20 told to get out of the way. Was that a spill? No. Well taken on by Matty Ray, it looked like. Cooney switches direction. Leilefano wide. It's Gilroy for his second. And Ulster get the third try. And that's brought them level with the kick to come. And the referee, no need to go upstairs, no need to consult with the men on the line. He has decided that Craig Gilroy's try is absolutely spot on.
Brilliant identification by Christian Leilefano. You see as the forwards are moving across, he's looking up, and then Alex Wooten just gets caught slightly narrow, having to cover Stuart McCluskey, and Gilroy's not going to miss that chance. Brilliant play by Ulster, not trying to force it too early, and this is a huge kick from Cooney. He'll have got a bit of a filler from his last one, and from here, if he can just start it just inside the right post, it'll usually draw in. So hopefully he can knock this over and give us the opportunity just to then close the game out.
Well, Ulster's half-backs combined beautifully to put Craig Gilroy in the corner, but all the hard graft have been done by the men up front. Off goes Kieran Treadwell. Robbie Dack is on. This, would you believe it, with 5 minutes to go to give Ulster the lead for the very first time in this game. Please, please, please. Go on, you rascal! Oh, what a kick by Cooney! 5 minutes to go, 3 tries apiece, but crucially, that man has kicked Ulster into a 2-point lead.
What a brilliant kick from Cooney, under huge pressure, knowing it could be the last opportunity. He just struck it so well, and he knew as soon as he hit it over, he was back into play. So Ulster now don't want to totally stop playing, but they don't want to take any risks down near anywhere within kicking range, because obviously one penalty for Munster still wins them the game.
Robbie Dack on the field. Munster have got Bill Johnson on, wearing number 22, who gets us underway again, and that's a good kick by Johnson, and spilled by Robbie Dack, just what Ulster didn't need. Oh, Robbie, how could you? Ball has gone a little bit on the loose side, little chip, and the advantage is now over, and that's going to go dead, and carried away there by John Cooney for a 22 dropout. Well, Ulster hearts in mouths there, Ian.
Yeah, I'm sure the Munster boys would have loved to have had the opportunity to take a scrum for that knock on. I think when the ref called advantage over, he thought the ball was rolling out for a line out. So Ulster very lucky to get away with that. But you would imagine this will be Munster's last chance. 22 dropout. Munster just hold on to the ball and try and eke out a penalty inside Ulster's half. But
how many times have these men in red come back from seemingly impossible situations to win games by sheer bloody mindedness?
Absolutely, Jim, and as we've talked, can't imagine JJ Hanrahan missing another kick tonight.
Johnson gathers, puts it wide to Hanrahan. Taken on well by Robin Copeland. Munster back into Ulster's half, and here come the Munster muscle men again. Archer set it up. Duncan Williams, Johnston, Hanrahan, Keith Earls, always a danger. Clever little kick by Earls. Ulster going to have to be quick, and they are quick, and it's a bit of a mess. And penalty against Munster, shoving in the back the man who didn't have the ball.
Yeah, that's a silly penalty by Munster. He had Ulster on the rack, and it'll be interesting to see that again. But Munster will be frustrated. A great kick by Earls, and pressure by Alex Wooten, but just a soft, cheap penalty that'll probably, you'd like to think this will see out the game for Ulster.
Just 3 minutes and a second or two remaining. Christian Leilefano doesn't need to be too clever, and he's not being too clever. Well, he is clever, but he's not being too smart. Well, he is being smart, but he's not been too silly. That's what I meant.
He's running down the clock well, Jim, and you can't take the risk of missing touch there. So you'd imagine also a walk to the line out, they'll catch and drive. A worst case scenario, the box kick this, and I can't imagine Robert Little touching the ball again tonight, Jim.
I don't think he'll mind. I don't think they'll mind if Ulster can catch this and keep it up the jumper for 2.5 minutes, they'll be happy. Well, they've won it at the line out through Nick Timoney. Robbie Dye again adding his bulk to it. Referee is saying that Ulster will have to play this. John Cooney looking to kick perhaps down this near touchline, and he does just that. Well, that's a belter for Gilroy to chase, and Gilroy jumps. It's been knocked forward by Munster. Advantage to Ulster. Now they need quick ball here. They don't get it, but they'll get the scrum in, and they'll be happy with that, because this scrum is going to take at least a minute, and then there'll be only a couple remaining, maybe even one.
Yeah, Jim, they'll be happy with that, but at the same time you can see the outside backs so frustrated that ball didn't come back. Robert Little could see acres of space for a crossfield kick.
Well, will we see him next week at the RDS in Dublin against Leinster, a game you can see with us here on BBC 2NI. John O'Gibbs still looking as if he can't bear to watch this. Likewise, Dwayne Peel and Les Kiss, if it stays like that, will be infinitely happier than he was at this stage in Galway last weekend.
It'd be really nice, Jim, to see Ulster really going for the throat here. Obviously, last scrum, they brought Chris Clutey out to defend Munster line. They're now 3.5 defenders against potentially 7, so Ulster have a good chance here.
Gilroy lurking with intent just behind the scrum. Cooney, now to Gilroy. McCluskey tries to bulldoze his way across the gain line, and he does that. Cooney again. Greg Jones, who's had a terrific game at number 6 for Ulster this evening. Cooney again. Here he is. Charles Piatow. They've kept him well shackled, but Cooney sets it up into the last minute of the game. Timoney takes it on. That line is the Munster 10-metre line. Callum Black just ducks down. Cooney again. Lealiafano. Nicely done. Herring gets it away. Here goes Little. It's going to be a bonus point for the youngster. What a finish by Rob Little. What an amazing second half of rugby by a beleaguered Ulster, who have given their beleaguered and concerned fans an awful lot to cheer about here on the first day of 2018.
Yeah, so much for Robert Little not touching the ball again, Jim, but brilliant hands, and again, brilliant by Christian Lealiafano. Munster defence, I think it was maybe Stephen Fitzgerald was trying to drop back and to pretend he was in the line, and then Rob Herring, great hands in the wide channel, and everybody knows Robert Little's not going to struggle to finish any love. What a lovely dive to finish it off.
Well, approve those dives or not, it doesn't really matter. Look at Rob Little. He knew he had the gas. He knew nobody was going to get anywhere near to him, and he knew that this was going to see a victory for Ulster, because with a conversion to come, it's going to be full time. His skipper Rob Herring delivered the most delicious of passes, and all the youngster had to do, it was a lot to do, but all he had to do was run in, and my word, he scampered for that corner.
Yeah, great finish, but big kick from Cooney to deny Munster a bonus point, which would be very harsh, but it could be big coming to the end of the season.
Sepulchral silence. Cooney. And it comes. No. Didn't quite make it. Munster 17-0 up at the interval. Thought they were probably home and hosed, but what a second half by an Ulster side who needed it more than they needed anything all season. What a finish by Ulster in.
Brilliant finish. As we were a bit critical at half-time, Jim, the second half performance was brilliant. Forwards came out with so much energy, big impact from the bench, from Matthew Ray in particular, but I thought very good performance by Greg Jones and Nick Timoney in that back row. Alan O'Connor threw a mountain of work again, and good the impact with the 2 new subs in the props solidified the front row, and just a brilliant win, Jim. 5 points, great way to start 2018.
Disappointment etched all over the faces of the Munster players, who probably, like a lot of other people, thought that at 17-0 up at the interval they were home and hosed. 2 tries by their hooker Niall Scannell, a penalty try for 17-0, but Ulster fought their way back into the second half. Tries by Darren Cave to start it off, a couple by Craig Gilroy, and finally one by Rob Little. And what a performance that was. Man of the match John Cooney didn't quite make that final conversion, which would have denied Munster a losing bonus point, so they'll make the long journey back to the southwest of the island with a point. But Ulster have got 5 points here, and what a start to 2018, and relief and smiles and pleasure on the face of Les Kiss. What a game here at the Kingspan Stadium to start 2018. The final score, you wouldn't have thought this was going to happen at the interval. Ulster 24, Munster 17.
Well, what a bounce back, what a reaction from Ulster in the second half. Stephen Ferris and Eddie O'Sullivan watching a scintillating Ulster second half performance. I mean, they were on the rack at half time. They asked for some character and they certainly got it, Steve.